Obama does not care, and Obamacare really messed up your life. The Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, was signed into law in 2010 by Obama, and it was supposed to make your health care less expensive, and instead it made it extremely expensive. In 2025, it's also the reason that your government shut down, because the left wants you to pay hundreds of billions of dollars over the next decade to extend these COVID-era tax credits that some Obamacare peeps got. But the problem is that these government handouts have essentially created $0 insurance plans for some people, and it's fraught with abuse. So essentially, people are claiming to be poorer than they are to get free health insurance. So it turns out that you and me are paying for $30 billion worth of fraud. There are about 11 million people who have Obamacare but don't even know it, but we're still paying for it. Private health insurance is more expensive. Because Obamacare is up 200%, why wouldn't employee-sponsored insurers just hike up their costs because they know that the government, aka the taxpayer, is going to fund it? Everything about going to the doctor's office is more expensive, so we know Obamacare is not working, but the question is, where is the money going? Insurance companies. For example, United Healthcare, their stock is up over 1,000% since Obamacare started. Insurance companies are getting rich, city hospitals are getting rich. The medical establishment has made billions of dollars, but you and me, we have not saved a cent. And now we know that when Bernie Sanders claims that if these tax credits are not extended, that 50 million people will die, that's also a lie. 22 out of the 24 million people on Obamacare will still have 91% of their insurance covered by us. Essentially, people who were paying $0 will now pay a little bit. So sure, their premiums are doubling from 0 to 1. So the plan going forward, Democrats want to expand this abhorrent cycle of pain. Republicans either want to fix it or totally toss it. Trump is proposing these health savings accounts for Americans. So basically the government would just give you a couple grand in your account and then you could use it on whatever insurance plan you like. Or because that won't fix all of our problems, let Obamacare finally kick the bucket, get government out of healthcare, and then let insurance companies compete across state lines. Treat it like a business, not a government handout. Oh, look, it's my...
Well, I guess none of us are ever going to be able to afford healthcare again, huh? In 2010, Barack Obama and the Democrats, only the Democrats, exploded the healthcare system. They took everything that was in place and they ripped it out and replaced it with Obamacare. They named it the Affordable Care Act because that makes it affordable, right? They said you could keep your doctor if you like him, you can keep your plan if you like him. They said essentially your premiums will go down to the price of your cable bill. These are actual quotes. This passes, and then anybody in the lower to medium income range can no longer afford their insurance plan without subsidies. So the American taxpayer is forced to subsidize health care. Now, the subsidies go to the insurance company, not the insured. The insurance companies are now just getting taxpayer money, so they up their rates as much as they want. Eventually, nobody can afford insurance, so Joe Biden in 2020 creates the American Rescue Plan, which allows for anybody of any income level to take subsidies to pay for healthcare. They set an end date for 2023 for the subsidies. Now, 2023 rolls around and they realize, oh my gosh, no one's going to be able to afford insurance, so they push it. They extend the end date to 2025, which is where we're at now. So the problem they created in 2010 is finally coming back to bite them, and what do? They shut the government down, run to the news, and go, it's the Republicans' fault. Obamacare was always destined to fail. The people who created it knew that. They wanted to make Americans dependent on the system and use them as political leverage and pawns. How do we not realize that?
I want to talk from the heart. Because when we talk about Obama's care or ACA, we're not talking about politics. We are talking about real people. We are talking about real families. We are talking about real emergencies and real life saved. Now, let's get to hear what people have to say about this and come back and get into the facts about this. And things that people are not actually realizing right now. Now, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you're new to my channel. Let us stick until to the end. Let us get to spill out facts and see what Obamacare really is.
To say that Obamacare is an unmitigated economic disaster is an understatement. When the cost to cover someone, a group of people, goes up, that insurance companies have one choice. Well, two choices. One, go out of business. Two, raise their prices. The people that put Obamacare together either had one of two agendas. Either they were absolute economic morons, or they fully intended to destroy the health insurance industry and completely put them out of business so that the government would be the only provider of health insurance. Let me explain to you what's happening, okay? We told you that because of Obamacare, that health insurance rates were going to go through the roof. first piece of data I got was from my state, and my state's just indicative of the other states. And the only reason I got this data is because of what it's doing to our health insurance plan. Obamacare has cost my tiny little company millions, with an S, of dollars already in increased health care cost. Now, when a little company like mine that has 600 team members is cost millions of dollars, there's a real simple effect to that. That's money I don't have to hire people with because it's going to stupidity. It's real simple. And so you want to slow down job growth. You suck money out of the economy with a vacuum cleaner called socialism on some kind of trash like this. Now, that's not just an opinion. It's an actual fact. It's occurred with my company. It's occurred with thousands, tens of thousands of companies just like mine all over America. But now get ready, it's not over. Blue Cross Blue Shield in the state of Tennessee is the largest insurer. They just pulled out of the exchange. They can't make the numbers work in the exchange. And they are announcing today a 62% increase in premiums for next year. 62% increase in premiums for next year. Cigna, they had forecasted a 23% increase. They just came out today, a 46% increase in premiums. Humana had forecasted a 29% increase. They came out today, 44.3% increase in premiums. If your blue jeans all went up, if a gallon of milk, a gallon of gas all went up 62 and 44%, you people would be storming Washington with pitchforks and torches. But you know what Americans are going to do? They're going to stand back and look at this and yawn, because it's coming through their companies and it's coming through the group plans, and they get the bill and they're just like, oh my God, my health insurance went up. What am I going to do? I can't afford my health insurance. And it's all because of Obamacare. It's because socialism does not work. It's a very simple economic formula. I mean, there's really this, a sixth grader could walk you through this, but these morons in the White House can't figure it out. Well, let me tell you, when you take an industry and you basically double the cost that it charges to the consumer, and the entire industry does it. So it's not like you can go get a gallon of milk from somebody else. A gallon of milk just doubled. Gallon of gas just doubled. You think Macy's and J.C. Penney's would stay open if they doubled all their prices? What's that going to do to the economy? 1/7 of the U.S. economy is healthcare. 1/7. And it just went up 62 and 44%. And this state is indicative of what's happening in every other state. It's not like Tennessee's pregnant and got a different issue than everybody else. This crap is coming down from Washington, D.C. And this is the effect of Washington taking control of an entire industry and screwing it up. And let me help you with this. If a company makes blue jeans or milk and they have employees, their cost to do business just went up dramatically. Do you think that that's not going to be passed on to you in higher prices? If you don't think prices are going up across the board on every product and service in America as a result of this debacle, you're not smart. Oh, it'll be gradual and it'll be incremental, and that's how you boil a frog. You turn it up slowly. And a bunch of you frogs aren't paying enough attention and you're getting boiled.
Republicans did it! Woo, woo, woo! Republicans have finally achieved their goal of canceling Obamacare. They did it, guys. Since 2016, they've been trying to take down Obamacare. They've been trying to repeal the Affordable Care Act. And after 8 Democratic senators, turncoats, decided to give in, to cave to Republicans, it seems likely that Republicans have finally achieved their goal of repealing the Affordable Care Act. Because let's be real, once those subsidies expire and people's premiums double, triple, quadruple in some cases, we already know what's gonna happen. Mass cancellation. Everybody's dumping Obamacare, myself included. Because I'm about to cancel my shit right now. Republicans have effectively gutted the Affordable Care Act. And now we're all gonna suffer. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Now insurance companies can make even more money. Going back to the good old days, guys. Don't you remember pre-existing conditions? Don't you remember having to get off of your parents' insurance once you hit 18 or once you graduate from college? We're gonna go back to drug prescription companies gouging us for things like insulin. We're We're gonna go back to millions of Americans being uninsured, guys. We're gonna go back to those millions of people being uninsured, upping premiums for the rest of us. This is just what the Republicans wanted. It's a great day for America.
Obamacare was not a disaster, and I really wish y'all would stop spreading that lie. And it's got to be because either A, you're too young to remember what the financial market and environment looked like back in like 2006, 2008, or you got a very short memory. I entered the workforce back in 2006, the same year I entered college, and the minimum wage was $5.15 an hour. Maybe 1 or 2 years after that, it was $6.55 an hour. At $5.15 an hour, $6.55 an hour, you were not getting insurance through the company. I remember that vividly. That premium was going to at least eat up 1 week of your check, and you only making $200 a week anyway. And you for damn sure wasn't going to get it privately because the premiums are even higher. This is why people back in the day told y'all, get a job with the post office, get a job with the city, get a job with the state, work for the government. Why? Because you may not get rich working for the government, but them benefits are going to make sure you're taken care of. But if you want to know the value of the ACA, you can just look at the benefits they celebrate. Do you know how many people were denied coverage due to pre-existing conditions? Do you understand how many people had the prices of their insurance jacked up just because they got sick? Y'all are harder on this legislation than y'all are on the companies that cause need for legislation. High premiums existed long before the Affordable Care Act. High deductibles existed long before the Affordable Care Act. Medical debt definitely existed long before the Affordable Care Act. In fact, medical debt has always been one of the leading causes of bankruptcy in the United States. The Affordable Care Act was originally meant to be a step toward universal health care. The problem is nobody else has taken another step to actually accomplish the goal of universal health care for citizens of the United States. Y'all got to start doing some research on your own instead of regurgitating these talking points that are completely unfounded.
It's generally funny how people liked the ACA but hated Obamacare, only to wake up years later and realize it's the same thing. The branding trick worked so well that people didn't even know that what they were fighting for or against. I've seen stories of people who couldn't get insurance because of asthma, cancers, and diabetes until the ACA. Parents who cried with relief because their children could finally get insulins because of the ACA. Young adults who are still trying to figure out life but stayed insured because of the ACA. That's what Obamacare did. It gave people a chance. It gave families dignity. Now, let us talk about the negative part about it. Yes, some saw higher premiums. Some felt the system was complicated. Some areas lost insurance providers. Not everything was perfect, but it was progress. Government spent more. No hiding that. But what is a government if not an investment in its own people? What's the point of a strong economy if the people running it are sick, drowning in medical bills, and dying because they can't afford care? The ACA didn't hurt the government. It revealed that the government should have been doing all along. Before Obamacare, insurance companies had full control. They could deny you, they could drop you, they could overcharge you, or leave you bankrupt. Obamacare checked their power, and they hated every second of it. If Trump cancels it, the consequences will be real and immediate. Since actually it is cancelled, for Nigeria talking, it is cancelled. Hence, the consequences will be real and immediate. People will die. Hospitals will struggle. Families will lose everything in one emergency room visit. Insurers will return to their old habits. Deny, deny, and deny. It won't be a political win. No, it won't be a political win. It will be a humanitarian disaster where people will be dying, people will be drawn bankrupt because of sickness in hospitals, bills. And most people are not realizing that despite the move that President Trump has put out there. People are not realizing that you're just in there that Obamacare is bad. Yeah, it has its negativity, but comparing the negatives and the positive, actually the positives are more than the negative, because people are going to struggle. People struggling now because there is a higher cost of living, but now they're going to struggle way more because now the Obamacare, the ACA is not there. They'll have to chip in from their pockets if you're denied by the insurance. If you haven't gotten an insurance that takes you in and you're denied, you'll have to remove money from your own pocket to pay for your bills. And that will put a lot of people in debt that are right now already in debt. People are not realizing that. They're just saying that Obamacare is bad, but you're not seeing the effect that's going to put out there. Since right now it's cancelled. You're not seeing that. Yeah. And so when people finally realize Obamacare is the ACA, I hope they also realize something else. This law wasn't about Obama. It was always about you, American. The people that you put him up there. It was always about you. It was never about him whatsoever. It was about you. But you're not realizing it right now. Until someone gets sick in the hospital and the insurance has just covered a small place, and it or maybe it has driven you dry. When it comes to finance, you have no money, all your savings to the hospital, to the emergency rooms, and you remain with nothing. I guess that's when people will wake up and realize that Obamacare, the ACA, actually helped a lot of Americans. Though right now, all of them are talking and say, yeah, it was bad, I didn't like it. Some are surprised, like literally, it's ACA, the Obamacare. You're looking at the disadvantage, but it seems that you're forgetting the advantages of ACA, and it's gonna bite a lot of people come a few months or years. It's going to cost people's life. People are not recognizing it now. But I know with time you're going to see it now. If you're to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. We're going to talk about real things like this. Let us make people see things for what they actually are. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Let me see you on the next one. I love you.